Good morning, students, and happy Wednesday. So we are continuing to plot points on graphs. We have been plotting them on number lines, but today we're going to go a step further and plot ordered pairs. And I'm going to show you what that means on a big coordinate system, a graph. So after you complete your simple review exercises, I'm going to explain these directions. So let's read them first so we don't miss anything. It says ordered pairs can be graphed on a coordinate system, which, as I said, is this graph right here. The first number of an ordered pair shows how to move across. So that means going this way, going horizontally. The second number of an ordered pair shows how to move up and down the graph. And here's an example. So it says to locate B, move across to the right to 3 and up 4. So you may have already noticed point B here on your graph. But to get to B, you would have to move across the right 1, 2, 3, and then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So notice that we had to go to the right 3 and then up 4. Because we went right and then up, notice that all of these numbers were positive. The right from the 0 is positive, and up from the 0 is positive. So that means that our ordered pair would be 3, 4. Simple, because we had to move to the right by 3 and then up by 4. Let's try C. So we can easily see that the letter C is here. But let's use an ordered pair to find it. We would have to move across to the left this time by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would have to move to the left by 5, not 6. So this book is actually mistaken because we only have to move by 5. And then we have to move up by 2. 1, 2. So there's one difference. In this case, we're moving to the left. When we move to the left horizontally, it is negative. Notice how the numbers on the coordinate system here are negative. So it's -5, but we're still going up. And remember that when we're going up vertically, it still remains positive. So our ordered pair would be -5, 2. So notice how -5 going up is positive. If we were to have to go down because the C was plotted here, then it would be -5, -2. Or in this case here, it's a little blocked. This is -3. -2, -3. So this was just the example coordinate system. We're now going to use this coordinate system to find the ordered pair associated with these points. So make sure that you're careful because you're going to be going up from the middle from the 0 or down from the 0. Remember, up is positive, to the right is positive. If you're going to the left horizontally, it is negative. And if you're going down from the 0, it's negative. So you can write just a little plus and a minus here just to remind you. But I'm going to show you with 2 examples. So for the first sample, we have the letter D. Let's find the letter D. So we can see D here, but let's find the ordered pair. When I start from 0, I have to go 1, 2 to the right, and then 1 up. Remember, that's both positive because we go positive to the right and positive up. So 2, 1. Our ordered pair for D would be 2, 1. For the letter L, this is a good one. This is a good comparison. For the letter L, which is here, we would have to go 1, 2, 3, -4 because we're going now to the left. And now we're going down. So -1, -2. So we have to go negative by 4 and negative by 2. So our ordered pair would be -4, -2. So it seems tricky at first, but as long as you're patient and you are making sure to note which direction you're going, you can also just peek at the numbers. These are all positive numbers going to the right. These are positive numbers going up from 0. The ones going down from 0 are negative, and the ones going to the left of 0 are negative. So you're going to complete 1 through 10, putting in your ordered pair solutions in the answer column to the right. And here for Wednesday, we have on page 164, it says writing dialogue. And if you hear a little snoring in the background, that's just the puppy. So here for writing dialogue, dialogue is another word for written conversation between 2 or more persons. So we should be learning this. It's very important to remember as we continue with our creative writing that when you write a dialogue, which means a conversation between 2 or more people, you have to use a separate paragraph for each person's speech. And this is an example. "Why did you have to stay after school, Ed?" asked Mr. Pope. "I didn't know where to find the Andes," Ed replied. "In the future, please remember where you put your things," Mr. Pope chided. Okay, so notice how every time that Mr. Pope speaks, it is in one sentence, but it's actually a paragraph. If it were to keep going, we would have to do a second paragraph for Ed. But simply, you'll notice that Ed's conversation does not just start to the right of Mr. Pope. It goes down. "I didn't know where to find the Andes." Notice how Mr. Pope's reply does not go right next to Ed's. It goes under. So separate paragraphs for each person, each person's part of a dialogue. And we have another example here. Okay, so on Write A, it says to write 2 jokes, like the first example above. Be sure to have at least 2 people talking. After you check for correct punctuation, share your jokes with the class. So, you're going to make sure that when you write your jokes, that you have a paragraph for each of the person speaking. And it could be a sentence, but make sure that you're not writing the second person's part of the dialogue next to it. They should be in different lines. Then here for B, think B, it wants you to read through this little story. Then on the same paper that you wrote your jokes, you're going to rewrite this story with correct indentation and punctuation. Now that may seem hard, but really all you're doing is making sure first that you're indenting, and all indenting means is that you're making a space between your paragraphs, or in this case, your dialogues. Like up here, notice this. When Mr. Pope spoke, the quote had a space first. And then, when the dialogue continued, it no longer had a space. But every time that someone speaks, you're going to skip a few lines. So you're going to take all of this short story here, and you're going to make sure that anytime you see one person talking, you write quotes around it, and then you'll use a next line for the second person speaking, and then so forth and so on. Of course, we can go over this over small group. Then, on your paper, you're going to write a conversation between Charlie Brown and Lucy. And again, make sure you start a new paragraph each time the speaker changes. So, same concept for write A, think B, and write C. Here for Wednesday, you have a word study strategy assignment. So at the top, you are just going to circle the Latin root in each pair of words. We did something similar last week. And then writing the root. So notice which letters or groups of letters exist in each pair, and then write that blend of letters here. All of these are in our pattern word exercise from Monday. Then on the bottom here, you should go over some of these Greek roots and what they mean. So you don't have to write anything in this little middle area, but you will need this to do numbers 4 through 9. So take a look at what these Greek roots mean, and then you're going to match them and write here pattern words that reflect the combined Greek root meaning. So I'm going to explain to you how to do it by just doing number 4. So here we have star plus order. So what I would do is I would first find the Greek root for star, which is here, astra, A-S-T-R. Then I would find the word for order. And the word for order would be, let's see, where's order? Here, right on the bottom. Nami, right? Astronomy. What does that sound like? Well, if we don't catch it right away, we would be able to look at our list and find the word astronomy, astronomy. And then you would write astronomy here. Because matching those two Greek roots with a few letters in between would give us a new word. So use this table to match, but don't just write them directly from your key. Make sure you look at your list. Because, for example, the word astronomy has an O in between the ASTR, meaning star, and the NOMY, meaning order. So make sure that you're looking at your spelling list before you write your answers for numbers 5 through 9. And then for numbers 10 through 14, you're going to write the missing root, affix, or affixes to complete the underlined word. So what you're going to do is you're going to read the sentences, and when you find the underlined word, like for example, this one says tend, but obviously it's missing either letters at the beginning, letters at the end, or both. So you're going to look at your list and find the word in which the root exists. So for example, for number 10, if it says that Kayla's blank tend blank course of study on, then we would find the word here that has tend in it, and it is right here, intended. Now notice that there's another one, tendency. However, tendency doesn't make sense with this current sentence, so we would have to use the word intended. So we would write Kayla's intended course of study. So we would write IN in front of the tend and then complete it with ED. So let me just complete that one for you really quick. If I could just find my pen to show you an example. Here we go. So I would complete the word by writing, in this case, it's missing a prefix and a suffix. Kayla's intended course of study. So that's what you will do for numbers 11 through 14.